Hello and welcome to your English news here on ERi-TV. It's exactly 10:30 p.m. on Eritrea's local time. From our headquarters here at Asmara with your local and domestic news, with your local and international news, I'm Zahra Badouri. But first we'll begin with your top and exclusive headlines for this broadcast. Mrs. ERi-TV addresses the 69th Commission on the Status of Women. Sign language training for teachers. On your international, 51 dead after North Macedonia nightclub fire. And Lavrov and Rubio discuss next steps in resorting Russian-US ties. And more on your international. On your reports in brief. An Eritrean delegation led by Mrs. ERi-TV, President of the National Union of Eritrean Women, is participating in the 69th session of the Commission on the Status of Women, currently underway in New York from 10 to 21 March. During the session, countries and women's organizations are reviewing progress on the Beijing Plus 30 goals, which focus on ensuring political, economic, and technological opportunities for women. Addressing the session, Mrs. ERi emphasized that the Beijing Declaration remains one of the most vital global commitments, not only in the advancing the rights of women and girls, but also in fostering more inclusive and progressive societies. Mrs. ERi highlighted that much like during the colonial era, global economic structures remain unjust, exploitive, and extractive in enriching a select few in the global north while impoverishing the poorest nations. She stressed that the diversion of vital resources away from education, healthcare, and economic opportunities for women and girls significantly hampers effort to promote gender equality. She further stated that across Africa, conflicts often driven by external interference have devastated economies, fractured communities, and left women and children bearing the heaviest burdens. Without genuine global cooperation to prevent and resolve conflicts, achieving gender equality will remain a distant dream. Mrs. ERi also pointed out that women's rights are often selectively weaponized to justify punitive measures against certain governments, while the suffering of many women, particularly those affected by conflict, frequently fails to generate the level of outrage necessary to drive real solutions. Regarding Eritrea's stance on women's rights, Mrs. ERi stated that the struggle for gender equality in Eritrea was born within the National Liberation Movement for Independence. It was neither granted nor negotiated. Rather, it was achieved through sacrifice and determination. Eritrean women fought alongside their male counterparts, not just as supporters, but as fighters and leaders. Their participation was not symbolic. It was fundamental to the success of the liberation movement. Noting that Eritrea has made significant progress in advancing women's rights and participation across all sectors, Mrs. ERi reaffirmed that legal reforms have ensured equal rights in marriage, employment, and proper ownership. Women in Eritrea can inherit, own land, and make independent economic decisions. She reiterated that education initiatives have led to gender parity with a particular focus on rural areas, while investments and healthcare have resulted in 70% reduction in maternal mortality. Women play a vital role in the economy, actively engaging in small businesses, agriculture, and trade, supported by microfinance and skill training programs. Additionally, Eritrean women hold key leadership positions at both national and local levels, ensuring that their voices influence policies and national development. Including her remarks, Mrs. ERi affirmed that Eritrean women remain valiant and committed to continuous improvement, determined to achieve the progress they aspire to and rightfully deserve. At the sideline of the session, the delegation is actively engaged in explaining the stance of Eritrea in equal opportunities and participation of that of Eritrean women. On your preceding domestic news, the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in Sawa and Warsai Kalo School has provided a 3-month sign language training program for about 56 teachers. The head of the political and organizational affairs of the union branch, Mr. Kasete Gebra Aman, stated that the training was part of the ongoing vocational training programs aimed at enhancing the overall capacity of the youth and college students. He also noted that in the past academic year, sign language and Arabic language training was provided to about 71 teachers. Meanwhile, the head of culture and health at Warsai Kalo School, Mr. Tashome Mahari, urged the trainees to apply their newly acquired skills to improve the lives of hearing impaired citizens and to pass on their knowledge to others. You're global after this. Stay tuned. And on your news, globally, at least 50 people have been killed and more than 100 injured in a nightclub fire in North Macedonia, reports say. The blaze is said to have started around 3 o'clock in the morning at the Plus Club in Kuchani, a town around 100 kilometers east of the capital, Skopje. As many as 1,500 were said to have been attending a concert by the band DNK, a hip-hop duo popular in the country. Interior Minister Pansy Tishkovsky said that according to initial reports, the fire started from sparks caused by pyrotechnic devices. He told reporters in front of the Kuchani police station that sparks then hit the ceiling, made a highly flammable material before the fire spread throughout the entire club. He also said some arrests have also been made. The country prime minister called it difficult and a very sad day for the country, which has now lost so many young lives. The hospital in Kuchani initially reported 90 admissions until now, with many suffering severe burns. Some of the injured have since been transferred to hospitals in Skopje for further treatment. It's reported that out of similar disasters in North Macedonia, this has caused hefty amount of human lives. The phone conversation between the senior officials comes aimed at a thaw in relations following years of tensions over the Ukraine conflict. However, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a phone call with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Saturday as Washington and Moscow works to restore bilateral relations and advance negotiations for a Ukraine ceasefire. According to a statement from the U.S. State Department, Rubio and Lavrov discussed steps to re-establish direct communication between the two countries. However, Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke today with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, discussing next steps to follow on recent meetings in Saudi Arabia, and agreed to continue working towards restoring communications between United States and Russia. They also talked about stopping the war in Ukraine and working on the initiations for maintaining peace in the country. It is known that the two countries' relations have heftily decreased to its lowest level due to the war in Ukraine. On your final of all reports, at least 34 people have died in the U.S., including 12 in Missouri alone, after deadly tornadoes tore throughout several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. In Kansas as well, at least 8 people died after more than 55 vehicles were involved in a crash due to a dust storm. More than 250,000 properties were without power across 7 states, including Michigan, Missouri, and Illinois. overnight into Sunday, however, according to Tracker Power outage. Further severe weather is expected for the region, with tornadoes watches issued across eastern Louisiana and western Georgia, central Tennessee, and the western Florida panhandle. 6 deaths were also reported in Mississippi by the governor, Tate Reeves, as severe tornadoes spread across within the state. Flash flooding and flood warnings have also been issued in central Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, and western Tennessee, as well as part of the Alabama and Arkansas, as severe weather continues to track across the southeast. The National Weather Service has said these flash floods could prove deadly. Multiple tornadoes warnings were also issued across Alabama on Saturday night. In Oklahoma, however, one of those fires, known as the 840 Road Fire, has already burned 27,500 acres and remaining 0% contained, and more than 300 homes and shops have been burned, according to the Oklahoma Forestry Service. The agency has issued a red flag warning for the state's panhandle area, signaling a severe fire danger. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. Until we are back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs here on ERi-TV. Until then, this is a recap of your top and exclusive headlines for this broadcast. Mrs. Tahat Ismail Mikhail addresses the 69th Commission on Status of Women. Sign language training in Warsaw-Kalo. 51 dead after North Macedonia nightclub fire, and Lavrov and Rubio discuss restoring Russian-U.S. ties. And at least 34 died as tornadoes tore throughout the U.S. Thanks for watching once more, and ta-ta for now.